Hi, you guys, and we're back on Hawk Talk. Obviously, we're in a nice big Zoom meeting. So I'm Ellie Hanser.
And I'm Coulter Hickok.
And I'm Seth Morkerke.
I'm Susanna Moberg.
I love the delay. And then we have a guest with us this week. If you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
He already did.
Oh, here you did? I
Yeah.
missed it. It's fine. We're getting used to things here. All right, so Coach, spring sports obviously have been put on a halt due to coronavirus. And I mean, you being the athletic director here at DSU, you probably had to deal with a lot of different and new things here. What negatives have you seen with this change?
Well, in the spring, obviously the toughest thing is those athletes first losing out on their season. The softball team got some games in and just went 6-0 at a tournament in Phoenix, and everything's going great, and you have to come back home and say your season is done. And I think the same thing, track and field. They just finished their indoor, had a really successful indoor year, getting ready to go for the outdoor and excited, and then they missed the season. So I mean, obviously that's number one for all of our athletes, especially the seniors. Some of the seniors may have an option to come back, but it not only really affects the seniors, but if they want to come back, but also the juniors and sophomores too, because there might be juniors that could come back and maybe graduate next fall and next spring, and now do they want to be there for 2 years or not, and how is eligibility to work for part-time, and there's just a lot of unknowns right now. So that's been the toughest part, is that, number one, and number two, just not being able to see the students on a day-to-day basis. That's what we're here for as coaches and as an athletic department. Our building's full of young people that are energetic and excited and doing all these things, and then to not be able to see them on a day-to-day basis, all of our athletes, has been really the toughest part for me.
Now, Coach, I know most of your time's at home now. So, I mean, what's your favorite quarantine snack right now?
I actually haven't even thought about that. I'm back doing a little bit of candy now, so we can do that after the Lent now. So we'll do a little bit of that.
All right, perfect.
Easter candy is 50% off at Walmart now, Coach. So
that's good to hear. I'm going to tell my wife that.
I wanted to ask a question about spring ball. You being the head football coach, you guys were kind of gearing up, just getting ready to go into the spring ball season for the football team. How did things change with that, and what have you guys been adapting to?
How that all happened, we were able to get in 2 practices right before spring break. They were beautiful days, and maybe that was a little bit of a blessing. We got started, we got on the field, and we had a couple practices, and then of course when everybody came back, we were shut down. And I think the big thing with spring ball, what we've been able to do, here's how we've done it, is we've just had meetings with our players. We've tried to, during the spring, you're trying to get your young guys kind of back in the playbook and knowing what's going on, because they've been doing scout team the year before, and we have meetings. So all of our coaches are having position meetings 3 days a week. We're getting on Zoom just like we are right here. We go through kind of what we would have installed that day in the spring. That's the good part about it. We get to stay in contact with our players. The bad part about it, we don't get to get on the field and actually see them do it. And they don't get a chance to do that. And so that's kind of how we've been doing that. We have a player council group, as you know, Seth, which you were on, as a group of our leaders on our team. And we get together once a week and just talk about how we're going to lead, how we're going to be positive through this whole process. And I know the other coaches in the other sports are doing the same thing with their teams. And then what we're also doing is we gave them workouts. We give them workouts that they can do, knowing a lot of them don't have equipment. So Colby has given them no equipment type of workouts. And we've tried to just kind of go on that way as well as we can. But, that's easier said than done, because once again, you don't know how they're carrying through with everything. And then the number one thing for us is really academics and being able to keep track of all of our student athletes academically. That's been the tougher thing. We know we have a lot of great teachers on campus that are helping them as well, but just for us to have that daily contact has been tough.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen, like, a lot of senior leadership or any of the younger guys kind of stepping up to try to keep this in a positive light for you guys this spring ball season?
Yeah, there's most definitely. I think everybody's tried to we just try to talk about that all the time is just you control what you can control. And the fact that everybody, is in the same situation. Every sport, every team in the country is going through the same thing. It's just how you're going to handle it. Of course, our concerns are, if somebody has a great group of friends and now they're missing that part of it, mental health, physically, they're maybe not doing as much right now, but mentally, or do they have that support system of, like I said, teachers and aides and their fellow students, where you guys, everybody here on this call, you guys can get together in a group, a study group and things like that. And you can kind of still do that just like we are right here, but we don't have that, we don't have that contact. And that's kind of what we've really been trying to do positive. Another positive thing is we didn't get one person hurt in spring ball. We can say that too, that we stayed perfectly healthy. And and I know it kind of sounds maybe not right, but it's really one of our goals always in spring ball is to stay healthy. So we're finding the positives is that we are healthy through spring ball because we didn't have a chance to meet.
Especially you, Coach, considering last year that was when you did tear your ACL.
Yep. That, Coach, that was 2 years ago, but thanks for reminding me of that.
All right, 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago in the first practice. Yeah.
Well, and you had to end up using the cart quite a bit to move around, and maybe even a cane. I saw maybe a rendition of that.
I did see that cane, and I actually had a cart, and I was on crutches for quite a while, and I was only on a cane for about a week because I just wasn't comfortable working. But for somehow one of our former players found a cane to kind of emulate my movements a couple of years ago through that. So that was good. That was good. I really enjoyed seeing all that and seeing all of our athletes. I thought it was outstanding what the coaches and athletes put together as far as the videos and the promotions. Coach Steer's still very hurt that he didn't make it past his first round with his jumping, but we're kind of counseling him on that. But I got some great ideas, and I think things like that where we all stay together. And I just really liked when I saw the university put together the Blue Hawk Strong on the football field. I thought that kind of just said it all. We stay together, even though we don't have a chance to get together. We stay together, and we'll be back at it soon.
Yeah. Absolutely. You talked about missing, being able to have face-to-face contact with your players, with the other coaches. So what's one thing that you're most looking forward to when all of this is done?
I think just getting back in the, not only in the routine, but just getting back around people. I think that's what I look forward to the most. And I think it may be this whole thing, and you talked about positive things, Ellie, as well. I think your perspective, hopefully everybody's perspective changes, that be thankful for what you have, that you have the ability to be in college and get a great education and be face to face with these teachers, and I think the same thing on the football field. That's a perspective that I'll take, is that don't take it for granted that we have this every day. We have a chance to be out on the field with our athletes and do a lot of positive things, and it really kind of reinforces that than when we haven't been able to spend weeks doing that.
Mm-hmm.
What's the NAIA's plan to rectify the spring sports? And I guess have you had an update on that?
Yeah, the NAIA has been pretty good about that. What they've done is they've allowed for all the spring sport athletes to receive their eligibility back, and they've also the NAIA athlete. How that works is you have 10 semesters to get in 4 seasons of sports. That way, if somebody redshirted, they can still get in, their 4th season. And what the NAIA did is they extended as well another couple semesters to get that in. And they've also worked with us on things like academics, with like our incoming freshmen. I'm going to give you a scenario. You have to reach a certain standard, be above a certain grade point, and be at an 18 ACT for eligibility. And what they're doing is they may lower that or allow more people to get in this year, because there's a lot of students, if you think about this, they couldn't either take the ACT or they can't make it up. Like somebody comes in and I need this score to be eligible and I'm 1 point short. I can't, there's nowhere to take a test. Yeah. So the NAIA is we're working through that to try to, hey, for 1 year, we're going to give them an exception because they couldn't take the test. If they're 1 point away, they still may be able to be there. And And like I said, I'm going back to what I talked about earlier. The biggest juggling act for us at Dickinson State is going to be for our spring sport athletes that are returning and working their eligibility. I'll give you a good example would be like next year, somebody's going to be a junior and they don't need that many credits. And you can take below 12 credits, but you can only do that one time. And after that one time, then you don't get that exception. So it's going to be a juggling act on that, because we don't want to stretch it out and have somebody stay in school for another year if they don't need to, but in the same sense, if they want to, try to work it out.
Definitely. And it's really easy, like in a time like this, to focus on the negatives of the situation, you know, that the difficulty with readjusting eligibility, the difficulty not being able to be in human or person contact with other people. So you and Ellie talked a little bit about this, but what are some positives that you see coming out of this situation, or positive ways that you think DSU has handled this situation?
Oh, I think our leadership has been tremendous. You know, President Easton has done a great job of getting out in front of it. I think it started right before spring break, and we met and communicated, and you know, you guys are students here, so you'd be able to know more. But I know that we've met 2 to 3 times a week, daily, and I will say this positive wise, what for me, what comes out of it is how much people here care about our students. There's a lot of concern about making sure that people were getting their meal plans, and people were getting reimbursed, and people were, do they have internet access, and you know, working that, can we extend the drop date, and all those things. So I think you know, overall there's just been a ton of positive things, and like I said, on the athletic side, I think the positive thing is that perspective that everybody's kind of has. I also think that sometimes a connection, you know, that you have like this. I was joking with somebody earlier that, you know, Coach Fleury and I are right across the hallway from each other, and I said I think we meet way more and talk way more now that we've been in this situation than we did before. And maybe some of you guys are probably in the same boat with your classes and things, and it's kind of held. You know, I think you can go down the line, and you know, maybe with your relatives and high school friends and things, and you get a chance to connect with them a little bit more than you usually would.
So I know this is the time where we usually ask you, what does DSU mean to you? But we've asked you that so many times, Coach. But for right now, I mean, what we're going through, like with this whole coronavirus, how have you seen DSU stay together, like connect with one another?
How do they stay together?
Yes. So like make connections with the students. Like, how do you see that?
How do we do that with our, in the athletic end of it?
Sure. However you want to answer it.
Through this whole process, how we're staying connected is, you know, is just daily. We're just staying as connected, and it's almost a 2-branch thing. We're trying to stay connected as we can to our athletes, having them share what they're doing academically with us, share what they're doing athletically, and then we're also encouraging our older athletes, the leaders in the team, and we have a lot of leaders, to reach out to the other athletes and say, so and so is back by himself or herself somewhere else, and really trying to help teach that networking. And I think, going back to what Susanna said, I think that kind of been a positive thing too, maybe even more so. The leadership things and the connection things have come out during this time. We're making the best of it, and once again, it's frustrating, and I think when you come back, whenever that is, it's going to take a while physically and to get back into what we're doing. But I think, once again, these connections that we've made can be some things that have been positive.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
thank you.
after you, Ellie. After you, Ellie.
Thank you so much for coming on and talking with us, Coach. I mean, this was our first time doing this here with Hawk Talk, and I think, what do you guys think? I think it actually went pretty smooth, right?
Yeah.
I think it went great. Can I ask you guys one question?
Oh yeah.
Yes, please.
I think it would be neat for the people to hear from one of you or two of you what the negatives and positives have been from the students' perspective through this whole process.
I mean, for me, I feel like I learn more in an actual classroom because I can slack off on my computer at home anytime. I can watch a movie while I'm doing homework. But I feel like I'd just rather be in class at Dickinson just because it's so. I feel like I learn more.
Yep.
So from the nursing perspective, we obviously have clinicals on site and everything. So we had a good, like, I had my first month and a half worth, so that was good. But I lost out on about 4 clinicals, and like that was really hard. And I completely understand, like, we need to be kept safe. Everyone else needs to be kept safe. But really the response from our professors have been absolutely amazing. They have been putting in so much time, so much work to make sure that we're still getting those hours. And I'm graduating from the LPN program this spring. And so they have just been so amazing with helping get our hours needed for clinicals as well as our study time for board. So there's definitely a negative in losing some of that, but seeing what our professors are doing to work and, you know, get us to that spot we need to be to graduate, it's been really cool to see. So, yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
so you're telling me that we definitely wouldn't want to go all online though. We'd want to stay face to face as much as we can, right?
Oh, face to face always. Come on.
I totally agree. I totally
Yeah.
agree. Yeah.
Well, I'm in kind of a unique situation. I was student teaching when all of this happened, and so I got pulled out of my student teaching a little early. So I think a negative for me was I didn't get to say goodbye to my kids. I didn't get to have that last day with them, you know, and thank them for everything that they taught me, because they did a lot. But I agree with Ellie. A really positive thing was how the department really came together and made sure that, you know, we're still not missing out on all of those senior milestones we were supposed to have. We're still getting a pinning ceremony, and we're still getting to present our final portfolios. And, you know, so I think it's really amazing how our department came together to make sure we weren't missing out on important moments, but also how the university came together to make sure that we still got to graduate, because that's kind of a big deal. So I think it's sad, all of the things we lost out on, but really amazing how all of our departments in our school came together to make sure that not only seniors, but every student felt like they weren't missing out on anything from their year, and felt like they still got to have the kind of closure at the end of their school year.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I totally agree with you all. I think our leadership, like I mentioned before, with President Easton and the cabinet members, they've been really proactive and really thinking of the students first through whatever things are going to be missed out, and that's really been a neat deal. There's always going to be bumps in the road for everybody, but I think that's always been the first foremost thought is our students, which has been great.
Yeah, that's great. All right, you guys. Pete, thanks again for coming on with us. It was a great first time here on Zoom for Hawk Talk, but we're gonna have another short meeting with us 4 here. I would say after the break. I don't really know. It's just gonna be a little short pause.
Yes, after the break.
Yeah. But thanks again, Coach.
Well, that sounds great. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Okay, bye.
Take care.
Bye.
See you later.
Hey guys, it's Tyler with Immovable Ministries here, and I'm so excited to be able to be the sponsor for this year's Hawk Talk. If you'd like to find out more about Immovable Ministries, you can visit our website at immovableministries.com.
All right, and we're back after a brief little break.
Little commercial break there.
It wasn't, I mean, you guys couldn't see the break, but it was there. You know, we were talking about with Coach Stanton how it affected us as students, and we never got to hear your side of things, Seth. I mean, over at the Heritage Foundation, how have things been?
Yeah, they've been different for sure. We decided to move. I mean, before the state or the government said we needed to move and shelter in place, or I don't know if we're at that, but we started working from home during your spring break. I think like right before that, and so we've been here for what, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, I don't know. But it was kind of a tough transition at first to start working, but it's been really cool for us because we transitioned more from the asking people to give to thanking them more so, especially in this season, where people are kind of uncertain where life is at or where things are going. We really want to thank them and let them know that, you know, we are a place that wants to support them and wants to give them, you know, whatever they need from us, whatever we can give them, whether it's our business or they just need people to talk to, or, you know, just any other resources we can provide. So that's been cool. I have been teaching my coworkers how to use Zoom, though, how to do technology. So that's been pretty
And how's
fun.
that been going?
It was fun.
Yeah.
It is fun.
Anyone in particular that was struggling? Ty, maybe?
I was struggling so bad to do it. No, I'm kidding.
Hi.
He's good. He's been good about this. They put me in charge of setting up the Zoom meetings. So
Oh,
All right.
That's a pretty big responsibility, Seth.
yeah, it's I guess it pays to have youth on your side sometimes.
yeah. Is it you and Buster too? Because Buster's just been kind of hanging out by you.
Yeah, me and Buster are hanging out.
Buster and I.
I
Buster.
keep fighting myself.
Yeah, ask the English teacher to correct your statement on that.
I keep on making eye contact with Buster, and I'm like trying to look away, but I don't know where else to look.
I know, I always feel weird on meetings like this because I'm like, I look to the side and I'm like, why am I, there's nothing over there. What am I doing? Whatever.
So, I mean, we talked to Coach Stanton about kind of what our specific majors are doing, and he brought up like missing the spring sports seasons. But I mean, what are you guys missing from the spring sports season? I know, Ellie, you were talking about missing the spring game for football.
Yeah, the spring football game. It was so much fun last year, and it was like so many people got to come out, you know, getting outside, having fun. You get to see the football players show off their, you know, VAE, you know, some of their guns.
Right.
And so, yeah, it was sad. And then obviously not getting to see the softball games because the girls had so many more home games scheduled than they have in the past. So that was hard. It was hard to see too. But I mean, what are we going to do? We have next year. And we'll baseball next year, guys. Come on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know, I was kind of sad. My sister manages the softball team, or is one of the managers on the softball team. And so she was really excited, you know, to be able to do that. And we were all really excited to get to go watch the softball games. And so I know that's something that our family is kind of missing out on this season, is being able to go, you know, cheer on those girls. I know a lot of her friends play softball, so being able to go support them. So that's something we're kind of missing out spring sports wise in the Moberg household, but definitely spring ball too. I know that game is always so much fun every spring. So it's weird.
Next year we'll do a tailgate next year for it.
So cool.
One day maybe. Who knows? Susanna will get to come back for it.
Blue
I
Hawk
believe-
Day, maybe?
As in one day. Blue Hawk
Yeah,
Game Day?
Blue Hawk Game Day.
What?
Mhm. Okay.
Okay.
I think the sport I'm missing most is probably track. I really love to watch track. And there's so many talented athletes out there of so many different events, and track is so full of different things going on that there's something always to watch. So I'll probably miss going out there on a nice spring day, you know, 80 degrees, hopefully one of these spring days. And maybe I'll just go over to the track and just watch for memory.
It's a short little walk.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about
just
nice
in the
spring
hand
days.
condition.
Is it snowing over in Dickinson? Because over in Bridger, Montana, where I'm at, it's snowing.
We have gray clouds, as you can see, gray skies here, but we're all right. No snow on the ground.
Weatherman Seth over there.
Mhm.
He's talking about the gray one above the Heritage Foundation here.
I figured.
Oh, I didn't know if you got off.
Nope, definitely caught on. Definitely caught on to that.
Oh man, sorry.
We
No, it was
obviously are a
fun.
little bit, oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, you go.
I was just going to say, we all obviously are a little bit stir crazy. So maybe we could go around and just kind of share how we've been quarantining and how we've all been staying inside and how it's been affecting us.
Susanna, you want to start?
Sure. This is me in my parents' basement quarantining in my little makeshift work area. I don't know if you can see moving boxes over there, getting ready to pack up and move. But I definitely have been going a little stir crazy, not like having human interactions other than like with my family. And I love them dearly, but I just miss other people.
That makes
So that's
sense.
For me, I flipped my desk around 3 different times now because I just need to change it every week. I go crazy without it. But I've been watching The Office quite a lot. Not while I'm working. Obviously, I'm working, but in the times I'm not working, I'm watching The Office a lot. Really, catching back up, diving deep. There's a lot of things I'm discovering. I've probably seen The Office every episode probably 5 or 6 times, but I'm really discovering a lot about some of the episodes. So.
All right.
Nice. You got any favorites, Seth?
Episodes?
Yeah, favorite episode.
Yeah, I was just writing them down the other day. Probably Stress Relief Part 1 and 2. Like every moment of those episodes is like pure gold, absolute pure gold.
Are those the CPR episodes?
CPR episode, yeah.
Okay.
More commonly referred to as the CPR. Yeah. And Pam and Jim's wedding is also a couple of both of those episodes is really I mean, you get both perspectives, the really funny side and the heartwarming, lovely side.
Nice. I like it. Coulter, what have you been doing?
Well, in my quarantine, I've been trying to get a little workout in as I'm in my parents' garage right now. It's not really much of a garage, but I got a hot tub behind me over here. I got a kitchen over here, pool table over there. If you're looking at it from my perspective, running equipment over here. So I'm just chilling, relaxing, maxing all cool, and maybe shooting some b-ball outside of my house.
Outside the house, good.
Okay.
How about you, Ellie?
Let's see. It's been a lot. I had to take a 2-week isolation for work when I got back from Montana. And so me being alone for 2 weeks ish was very difficult. So I spent a lot of time, sitting outside, relaxing. I don't know if you guys have seen Tiger King yet. Watch Tiger King in 2 days. Come on now. It's great. It's hilarious.
Crazy.
Carol Baskin. Wow.
I honestly couldn't believe that it was real. I watched it and I was like, this has to be staged and fake, but it's not. It's real.
No, it's not. I heard that they're actually coming out with another video this week on Thursday.
Yeah, like a reunion, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of,
If you can call it a reunion.
Yeah, I wonder if it's gonna be live from jail or prison. I mean, it's gonna be interesting.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Sorry. You're a fan. But yeah, I started going back to work last week, and so I've been super busy. So that's been nice because that's my social interaction right there. But good, it's been good.
I wanted to ask you guys this question. I posed this question on Twitter a little while ago, and I want to get your opinions. So I said they've been doing all these quarantine questions. Who's the best character, who's the best basketball player, all these things, and they've taken polls and things. So I presented my own. So you're now faced with this scenario. The following 4 individuals are going to become your boss. So you have the choice to pick one of them. Okay, so you got Michael Scott from The Office. You've got Captain Holt from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. You've got, who else did I say, Coulter? You got
you had Leslie Knope.
Leslie Knope from Parks and Rec.
And there's one more.
And Jess.
New Girl.
Jessica Day from New Girl. Who are you picking?
I feel like I got to go with Leslie Knope. I mean, just her personality alone, it's never a dull day with her. I mean, she's just a ball of sunshine every day, and she'd be one of the best bosses to work for. Now, I heard there was some debate about putting her over Ron Swanson. What was your reasoning behind that, Seth?
Ron Swanson, he's not much of a big government guy. Wouldn't want his face to be shown on the internet probably anyway. So, he wouldn't have liked the idea of anyone getting to choose that job either. He's kind of in this position. So I decided to go with Leslie. She is trying to run for president along the whole series. Spoiler alert on that.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought maybe let's give her a shot too.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yeah, I definitely have to go Leslie Knope. I think she's my spirit animal. She and her love for waffles just really speaks to me. a lot. But yeah, like Coulter said, I just think she's so much fun. She's so outgoing. She knows exactly what she wants, and she's not going to stop until she gets it. I just think that's really, she's just amazing, and I love her a whole lot. So Leslie Knope is definitely my number one. My number two would be Jess, because I just think she's so fun and cute, and I just love everything about her, and I love that show also. So Leslie's my number one. Jess is my number two. Girl power.
So I had a long debate with myself here because like Leslie, like people have told me that I act like her. I don't know why, but I'm just kidding. But I love her. But then like I think Captain Colt, what's his name? Captain
Holt with an H.
Okay, like he's a good boss. He cares. He doesn't show a lot of emotion, but like he would be so much fun to like, you know, have in your corner. He'd be someone you want there, you know, because he does care and he's hilarious. So like I've been kind of going back and forth, like really thinking about the boss. And I think I'd have to go with him. I think I'm probably one of the few people, you know, I'm just more stirring the pot here this quarantine, but I really enjoy him. So
Good answer.
yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I picked Michael Scott. You know, just tried and true. I think he'd be. I watched some of these episodes and I'm like, can you imagine having a boss like this? Like, can you actually imagine it? And it'd be insane. And I think I would. I think I'd be like Jim and just kind of roll with the punches and, you know, just like look at the camera all the time. Like, what is actually going on? I think he'd be. And he's also a really good boss. Like he's smart in the business world in the paper, even though it does not seem like that. But he's relational and he knows how to treat and talk with people. So I think it'd be fun.
I can see that. I like that.
The Office. Did you see that Jim or John Krasinski started a good news channel on YouTube, or I saw it on Facebook?
Yeah.
So cool.
Very cool.
I've cried. I think there's 2 episodes, and I cried both episodes. So I just thought it was so cool. But little plug for him.
Yeah.
So you guys, I think Suzanne and I touched on this a little bit, you know, like the reaction we have seen from our professors, from the university, but I mean, we have been seeing such an insane amount of work coming from the people of DSU, even from the foundation, like everyone all around our whole community. So Coulter and Seth, what have you guys been seeing, you know, on your end? Have you guys been seeing anyone else big stepping up?
Yeah, I think being in Dickinson, you know, and like still being involved in the university as an employee, I think I've seen a lot of the back end of things, or I don't know if you call it front end, or just behind the scenes of what the professors are really, really trying to do. Like you said, we have some of the most dedicated professors who are, you know, they're willing to figure things out. I think some of them, you know, probably weren't using the Blackboard services or Blackboard services as much as they are now, but they were willing to try it out. And they were willing to, you know, figure things out and how are we going to get the best education to these students. And that's what it comes down to. Like these professors are really here for you, the students, and all the other students. That's why they do their job. They're not doing it for, you know, the status or for the money or, you know, having this position on campus. They're doing it for you guys. And that's something I really, really value. And I'm thankful that I got to come to DSU and still work here.
Yeah, like Seth said, I mean, the professors are always there. They're going to try and make everything as easy to access as possible. And I mean, I was in the process of going through my observations in the middle school, the elementary school, and because of this outbreak, I didn't get to go to the high school. So the professors in the education program, they're going to try and make us eligible to go to observations next semester. So I mean, just based on that, I mean, they're trying to make sure that everybody is going to be successful. I mean, it was a horrible thing that happened with this outbreak, but they're just trying to make things easier for everybody.
Yeah, but I think that it's like so good for all of us to be like seeing this. And I think that as like the student body as a whole, I think that we've all been very, very grateful towards our professors and, you know, understanding that there's going to be glitches along the way too. So I think that's one of my favorite things that's come out of this is seeing everyone, you know, come together. So yeah.
I agree.
Oh, do we have anything else, you guys? Oh, Seth's
It's getting dark here, guys. So
yes.
Must be reaching the end of the episode.
Yeah, it's the end of the. We're doing like a light. Did you know I took that picture, Seth?
You did?
No, I'm just kidding. I think I could go take it right now.
Ellie, you're so talented.
Look at that, the sky above the. Yeah, it's pretty nice
Beautiful.
cool night out here.
Beautiful.
Getting nighttime rays.
Yeah. All right, you guys. I think it was
This
a
is
great.
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It has been fun. I think we should do it again.
Oh, should we?
I think so too.
I think we should do it again.
I don't know if everyone's seen the tweet that got sent out, but we're going to try to interview some seniors, do some senior spotlights here this spring. So we have that to look forward to. But yeah, I think that's everything. All right, you guys, should we do it? Let's see if we can do it on
I
a
think we should do
nice
it.
send off through Zoom. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Hot
Hot syrup.
It was a good try, guys.
It was.
Good
All
try.
right. Bye, everybody.
Okay,
Bye, everybody.